Hello everybody, welcome to That's Football. It was certainly a very interesting weekend in the FA Cup for Liverpool, but is it time to worry? They sit 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League. They play Everton with their game in hand on Wednesday. They could be 9 points clear at the top. They are still Champions League favourites. They are favourites in the Carabao Cup. It may not be the treble, but it could still be a very successful treble. And I think the big statement is, name me a manager that's walked into a football club that's lost an iconic manager who didn't win the league or the Champions League, and he goes and wins the Champions League and the league in his first season. Not really something to be moaning about if you're a Liverpool fan. However, some think this could be the start of something bad for Liverpool. Maybe the Plymouth loss leads to a last ever Goodison Park Merseyside derby loss. Maybe that then leads to more points being dropped and Arsenal start to build momentum. Maybe in the Champions League, teams such as Real Madrid, Bayern Munich scrap themselves through the qualifiers and finish the season strongly, and Liverpool end up like they did last year with a Carabao Cup when it could have been so much more. Get in the comments. Look, I have my opinion. You might have seen it on watch-alongs. You might have seen it on the Super Bowl watch-along last night. But we haven't actually had a video reaction to Liverpool, and I feel it is worthy because on Friday I did a video saying I was very worried about Liverpool doing the treble or even the quadruple and who was going to stop them. And 2 days later, they put their reserves out to Plymouth and they're out the FA Cup and the treble is not possible. But I think the context of that is just so relevant. It's been discussed by many and my first reaction to this was when I was out for a walk yesterday afternoon and I saw that Liverpool were losing for a few minutes to go, instantly went on Flash Score, had a look at the lineup and went, oh, okay. That takes nothing away from Plymouth. I mean, there are still good players on the pitch for Liverpool and Slot would still be disappointed and expect them to win. I don't think it necessarily dilutes the fact that Plymouth beat them. It's still a shock. It's still not a good result for Liverpool. But of course there is the context there. Would Liverpool have lost the game with the likes of Mo Salah, etc. in the team? Well, we'll never know. Probably not, but we'll never know. And it wasn't like they couldn't pick those players. I think what happened here is that you need a little bit of luck if you want to win a treble. I was talking about this on Friday. Manchester United, I mean, look, you need a lot of luck or a lot of money. And Liverpool are going to have to rely on luck because they don't have what Man City had when they won their fake treble, which was a massive squad, a massive amount of money backing them. Liverpool don't have that massive a squad. They have to protect it. And I think you're going to need luck then. I look at the season that United won the treble. We were losing at Old Trafford in the third round of the FA Cup, nearly in stoppage time. Solskjaer scored the winner. Obviously, the Champions League final, we saw that, but there was plenty of games. Turin, we were behind in the second leg. Look at the FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal. We're down to 10 men into extra time. So you need these little bits of luck. And I think yesterday, Arne Slot would probably look at the laptop and go, let's have a look at this game. I want to win this. I want to win the FA Cup, but I don't want to risk this player, that player, and this player. We played Thursday night against Spurs. That was very intense. It's the last ever Goodison derby on Wednesday. That's intense. They've then got Wolves on the Sunday, and then they've got Villa midweek after that away in the league. So they've got so many important games coming up that will, if they can get over the line with these league games and got over the line with Spurs from behind, you're in a final and you basically putting a hand on the trophy. So you look at that Plymouth game and you go, on paper, this is the more straightforward one. This is the opportunity to rest some players and we should still have enough to do it. Don't blame Slot. Don't blame the FA Cup, blame the calendar. The calendar is ridiculous. And if Liverpool were to put out a Van Dijk in that game or a Mo Salah, and after half an hour they pull a hamstring and they're out for 6 weeks, you've just risked the player against Plymouth and everyone will go, didn't need to do it. So you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. They should still have won the game with the team that he selected. And that's disappointing. But I don't think he can be criticised for disrespecting the cup by not picking certain players, because if he'd picked them and then you missed them against Everton and Villa away and the Carabao Cup final and Man City, which is coming up, I think every Liverpool fan is going to say, don't pick that player against Plymouth. Take the risk. You take the risk, you roll the dice, and sometimes you throw a 6 and sometimes you throw a 1. And they threw a 1. They threw a 1 and they lost 1-0. I don't necessarily think that it will be a massive setback for Liverpool. I think they'll be able to reset quite quickly. I think if your target for the season was to win the quadruple or the treble, you're going to be psychologically damaged. But at the start of the season, I think Liverpool would have happily took the league, and very happily took the league. And I think that will be the mindset. This is Arne Slot's first season. Man City have dominated this league for years, and Liverpool sit 6 points clear with the game in hand. I think they would take that situation and a loss to Plymouth in the FA Cup. Are they in trouble? Could it be the start of something? I mean, look, I'll admit, there is a part of me that thinks, could this be the start of something? They've shown a vulnerability. Yes, it wasn't their first team, and that psychologically is something they can use. But it was still a team that should be capable. It still shows Arne Slot that when he leaves certain players out, the players that come in aren't necessarily reliable. It still leaves you with that doubt that, well, what if we did lose a Salah for a few weeks? Would that mean we'd start to drop points like we did in that loss against Plymouth? So there may be trouble ahead. I think everybody apart from Liverpool fans are hoping that there's going to be a trouble ahead. And I certainly look at their next few Premier League games, Everton away, Villa away, and Man City away. And you think, again, if you're Arsenal, you're looking at what Liverpool had in January, which was Forest away, Fulham away, Bournemouth away, and they took 7 points. No, Brentford away, not Fulham. They took 7 points. If they take 7 points from those 3 away games in the next few weeks, they're going to win the league. So, very important time, and you can understand why Slot has prioritised what he's prioritised. Will it impact them? Are they in trouble? Only if you think that being top of the league and the favourites for the Champions League and the favourite for the Carabao Cup is a bad season and a thing for being in trouble. I think there's a lot of hope that Liverpool are in trouble. And I would subscribe to that hope. But I think the FA Cup gets disrespected by teams that aren't Liverpool. And what I mean by that is, I think the justification for Newcastle and Liverpool to rest players having played big games midweek, especially when Liverpool have got a big game midweek this week, I think it's justifiable. You look at Villa, Spurs, both teams pick strong teams. Brighton, Chelsea, strong teams, because the FA Cup could be really important to them. You look at Man United winning it last year. It saved our season. It was the only pathway into Europe, and it was a trophy. So I think teams respect the FA Cup if it fits into their calendar. I think if it falls at a time where it's a little bit of a hindrance, you have to rotate. It's not disrespect, it's common sense. Liverpool played 8 qualifiers in the Champions League instead of 6 last year. They've got a game in hand coming up midweek. It's logical. And I think at the end of the season, if Liverpool come through with the Champions League or the Premier League, I don't think they'll look back on Plymouth and a potential treble and go, we could have done that. I think for a first season, we're probably not talking enough about the incredible job that Arne Slot's done in his debut Premier League season, and how Liverpool have dominated the English scene in what has been, I think, the best Premier League season for ages. And just talking about the FA Cup for a moment, I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant that teams like Bournemouth and Newcastle and Aston Villa are in this tournament with a chance of winning it. I mean, Man City don't look good. Man United are the holders. We don't look good. So, yeah. And Liverpool going out actually just makes it a little bit more interesting and a bit more of an open race. And Liverpool have got other races to run. So I don't think it will be the start of something, but maybe tune in at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night and see if Everton can get that win. If Everton get that win on Wednesday, and there is a bit of a hangover from the Plymouth game, then I think we can start to talk about, is it time to worry? But at the moment, I think that could just be a drop stitch in Liverpool's title race tapestry. Thanks for watching. Get your comments in. Smash a like. Went for the wrong mouse.